Hello, it's Vaughn Nicole, and welcome back to another video. Welcome, family. I hope you guys and gals are in good spirits. And if you're not, I hope by the end of this video, you will be. Today, I want to talk about boundaries. Boundaries are important, in my opinion, to keep you not safe or narc-free zone, like a narc-free, because it's almost impossible to give you, I feel like, to throw out anything to say, so you won't meet a narcissist. I won't do that. But boundaries are a good start because I feel like, in my opinion, you can weed out a narc sooner than later. Also, when you think of the word boundaries, family, drop down in the comments and tell me what is your thoughts when you think of boundaries. For me, when I think of boundaries, I imagine myself with the line drawn that people cannot cross. But there's also, when you think of boundary, you think of like a wall or a fence, a border, something that keeps a person back, honestly. And boundaries are not always physical, but psychological. There are psychological boundaries, and they can be physical as well. For me, I got some notes I'm looking down at, family. For me, when it comes to boundaries, you have to know who you are as a person. If you are struggling with who you are as a person, I guarantee you, your boundaries are definitely being crossed. I have dealt with this. I'm still dealing with this. And I do implement boundaries so they can't be crossed. And boundaries are not just for narcissists. Boundaries are not, they're for toxic people in a whole. So people don't overstep their boundaries. Like, you have to have boundaries in place. For me, one of my issues with boundaries were, and this is big, family, telling people no. I used to always feel guilty by saying no, I couldn't do something. And I always let people cross my boundaries. I would always say yes, knowing I really didn't mean yes, but that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. And now I understand, because I am doing inner work, that no doesn't mean no, I don't like you, or no, I'm not going to do this for you. It just means no, I can't do it at the moment. That's usually what I say. I take a step back. I do not respond with the first thing that pops up in my head. I no longer work that way. I take a step back and I evaluate the situation before I make a response. Because I have another example of someone crossing your boundaries, is which I used to let people, my ex-narc do. No one, and I mean no one, should be allowed to call you out of your name or disrespect you in any way. That is crossing a boundary that I will not, and I mean I will not tolerate anymore. Putting you down. Anything that's negative is crossing a boundary, especially from a romantic partner, your person. It's definitely crossing the line. Cheating, that's a boundary that you cannot cross with me. One time, once is done. Those are boundaries I will not. I haven't had it often, but it has happened. Using of the word bitch. You call me a bitch for whatever reason, jokingly. I am not your bitch. It's crossing a boundary. At crossing boundaries. If you do not respect yourself, I'm sorry, family. If you do not respect yourself, you teach others how to lead with that. Do you understand me? So really, survivors, we got to do inner work. You got to do inner work and figure out who you are as a person. You have to do that. That's the only way for you to set clear boundaries. And not even that, there has to be consequences when a person breaks your boundaries. If a person breaks your boundaries and there's no consequence from you, they would definitely break your boundaries again. There's no consequences. It has to be firm consequences. Has to be. Like I said, family, I took some notes. I got 5 things that I think are important. Your emotional health is linked to boundary setting. Facts. Your emotional health is linked to boundary settings. If you do not know who you are emotionally, I feel like you will not implement boundaries. I will not tolerate people putting me down at all. My emotional health matters. I choose me first. And I want to say this without getting off topic, but specifically right now, for my Black girls and Black women, I know in our culture, boundaries, especially when it comes to our parents, is not enforced. And I want to say this as a 41-year-old woman. You have to put boundaries in place. And I'm speaking specifically to Black women when it comes to our mothers. Because some of our mothers, and we do not like to say this out loud, some of our mothers are very toxic. Toxic. And we overlook it and say, this is just the way they are. Absolutely not. I no longer accept that. That is not just the way you are. You will not cross my boundaries just because you are my mother, you are my sister, you are my brother, you are my father, you are my uncle, you are my child. I will not allow anyone to cross my boundaries anymore, no longer. I choose Von Nicole first. And if I don't choose me first, then I will have people walk all over me. I do know, and this is for another video, that I am codependent, so I'm working on these things. So that's the reason why I have to implement boundaries. I do. Number 2, you deserve to be heard and understood. You are the master of your feelings. Do you understand that, family? You deserve to be heard and understood. You are the master of your feelings, nobody else. Once you allow that narcissist to control your feelings, boom, he got you. He wins, he got you. Anyone that can control the way you feel, they got you. You are no longer in control. Sometimes situations call for assertiveness. Not to be mean. It's not being mean. Sometimes people are pushy and don't know how to accept no. So you have to be assertive. Because if you don't, it assaults and it threatens your boundaries. You have to keep your boundaries in place, family. Whatever your boundaries are, things that you are not willing to compromise as a person, keep them in place. Keep them in place. It allows for growth and self-awareness. And that's where I'm at. I'm on my growth and self-awareness journey. And I'm not going to lie to you, family. I am enjoying it. I am finding out what Von Nicole wants, what Von Nicole likes, what Von Nicole don't like. Like, it's a wonderful journey. And you know what? Once you are in control of your own feelings and you do not allow anyone to control your feelings or how you react, it's a beautiful thing, family. It takes a while to get there, but it's a beautiful thing, family. And the last one, they create healthy relationships. Having boundaries creates healthy relationships. And like I said, it wasn't only my narcissist and I think it starts younger than that. Especially, like I said, I'm speaking to my Black women, just Black women for a second. I know in our culture, the parents are always right. You don't backtalk the parents. I'm here to say that's dead. That does not work. That does not work. If you do not set boundaries with your family, in my opinion, if you don't set boundaries with your family, then once you get out in the world, it's free range for everybody to walk all over you. And that's just my opinion. Black little girls, I know it's hard. I'm not saying be disrespectful, but you have to set boundaries with your mother, with your father, with your brother, with your sister. And I'm speaking specifically about mother and daughter relationships because It's something I experienced. Like my mother would cross these boundaries and I felt like I had to allow her to because she's my mother. That's what we taught in the Black family. It's your mother. They get to do these things. It's not true, family. Absolutely. Do the inner work, and I promise it will eliminate a lot of toxic people in your life that you have present, and it would keep the ones that haven't come yet. It'll keep them back. You stand firm on your boundaries, and that's what it is. It says Vaughn Nicole, and if you enjoyed my content, can you give me a like? If you think my content was useful, could you share it? And if you would like more, could you come and subscribe? And like I said, this is Vaughn Nicole with another video, and I'll be back again, family. And stay firm on your boundaries. No one gets to cross your boundaries. Until next time, family.